Hello, how are you doing today? My name is Ferrante Frazier, and I'm with Savannah Natural Health. I'm a holistic practitioner where we correct health issues in individuals by using such things such as air, water, sleep, the type of foods that we're eating, get into the individuals, lifestyle habits such as their environment, dealing with all around cleanliness, temperature, exercise, all the natural principles that govern our body, we encourage the individual to do. We want to thank the ATR media platform for allowing us to, actually get up here and teach about holistic health and healing. We're up here every Tuesday at 6 o'clock talking about holistic health and healing. Um, that's every Tuesday. So that's something that you need to lock into your brain and share with as many people as possible. You got an appointment with a holistic practitioner at 6 o'clock every Tuesday, and come and learn about holistic health and healing, how to actually correct your health issue without ever stepping foot in a hospital, without ever stepping foot in a doctor office. We bring in actually the doctor office to your living room, to your smartphone, to any platform that you're on, thanks to ATR Media. They have a lot of different shows that are going to be teaching people about positive things and how to, all the things that are relevant in our day and time that is necessary to bring about peace, love, and happiness and health to a lot of people around this world. So all the information is ideal. So let's tune in, share to as many people as you possibly can. Not only just on my show, but all the shows that we have. So I want to encourage you to go get you a paper and a pen. We're going to have a phenomenal session today. I want to thank all our listeners and all the people who have been tuning in and sharing. We've been having a lot of calls where people do want to change their life from hearing us talk. So we do see this as a needed thing and beneficial to spreading this type of information out here where people can, see that there is a balm in Gilead. There is a way to heal our, sick selves and stuff, and not have to go being drugged by the medical man or by the poisons of the apothecaries. We don't have to go to the herb store and get all our these remedies and cures that we've been looking for. We can, and a lot of people get mad when I say, well, I don't believe in the herbs and remedies and things of that nature. They get mad because a lot of them have a vested interest into these so-called remedies and cures. They're selling this stuff. They're selling their tonics and they're selling their vitamin supplements and they're selling their malt, their sea moss batches and different things of this nature that they can't make money if they don't have a product. They can't correct disease if they don't have a product. Well, we're showing you the no product cure, the no medicine cure, the way to allow your body to recuperate its energy level. And when that energy level has been restored in the body, then the body can make use of the natural substances in this environment. It can make use of the water. It can appropriate it into its flesh and bone. It can make use of the air. It can appropriate it and turn it into flesh and bone. It can make use of the fruits and vegetables. It can appropriate it and make it into flesh and bone. It can appropriate, all the sun rays and turn it into flesh and bone. So when the body is full of energy and we bring the natural ingredients that the body was made of, then it can build itself in an ideal state. And this is all that we think health to be when you are in an ideal state, not suffering from diseases and things of that nature. So we want to start off talking about, and like I said, we want to thank everybody who's put this together. Mr. Charles, behind the scene there, all he do working with me every week, getting this show together where we can, put it out to y'all, where y'all can, see all that background work that brings me to this glass today where you can look on to and hear me speak about this holistic health. So thanks to everybody who's, helping push me out there to talk about my passion about holistic health and healing. We want to thank all those people who taught me about disease. All my learning from my school, the University of Natural Health, where I did a lot of my studying from, learned a lot from Dr. Shelton, Dr. Trawl, Jennings, Graham, and a lot of the other hygienic practitioners that, went through ridicule just to make sure that we stay away from, a lot of the drugs and the practices that were going to take us away from knowing what the true cause of disease is. Now, a lot of us ask ourselves, what is disease? Disease is just, a lot of people want to say that disease is something that is not of the norm, and so, we don't normally see people with 5 legs or 6 legs. Would that be a disease? Well, think about it now. We don't normally see people with 2 hearts. That's not normal. Would that be a disease? Now, what if those 2 hearts allow more blood to be beat around them? What if those 5 legs allow for you to run faster? 5 legs, can outdo 2 legs. So would it be a disease, or would it be just you're more, capable of getting around because you have these added stuff to you? But what is disease? Is it actually something that is not normal, or is it something that takes you off the path or causes you sicknesses or illness? So we have to look at what is disease. And when we look at what is disease, we have to look at the cause of disease. The cause of disease is going to help us understand what disease is when we learn what is the cause of disease. So for the next couple of minutes, I want you to get a paper and a pen, and I want you to write down the cause of disease. So get you a paper and pen. We're going to give you a couple of seconds to go get your paper and a pen. But while I'm doing that, I just want you to just take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Consciously just take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through the nose and out through your mouth. All right, so you should have a piece of paper now, and what we're going to talk about is the cause of disease. So on this piece of paper, let's put up the cause of disease. All right. Now, according to natural hygiene, the cause of disease is just one cause to all disease we believe to be that hasn't came from some type of blunt trauma. If you jab and stick a fork in a kidney, yeah, you're going to have a disease. That's going to be from some type of trauma that, was brought on from your negligence, in other words. But any disease that doesn't come from some type of blunt trauma is going to be the result of poisoned blood. All right. The blood of the individual must be toxic. Now, that toxicity of the blood. Now, let me get you to understand why we believe that toxemia is the cause of all disease. Now, when I get you to understand that your blood is your vital fluid, this is what hygiene speaks of. The blood is vital fluid. If you look into the human body, you would notice that there is no place where there's no blood. There's usually blood everywhere permeating throughout the body. All right. And this blood is you'll say a mobile for nutrients. It's like it's going to help travel the nutrients around the body. All right. So whenever the tissues need nutrients, when they need their vitamins and minerals and fats and proteins and amino acids and sugars and things of that nature, it dips its hand, or it goes to the blood to pull from it vitamin A, vitamin B, calcium, magnesium, and whatever ingredient it needs at any moment in time. It goes and does that. The blood is a storehouse of everything that we needed from without, that the cells can't get on their own. Our cells, they can't go out and get food for themselves. They can't go get water for themselves. So all the trillion of cells in your body, they need some type of common stream in which to get a distribution center. Let's look at the blood as being this big web of distribution. It can distribute all the vitamins and minerals and all the nutrients and nutrition that the body needs via this blood. So the blood goes around distributing different vitamins and minerals and nutrients throughout the body to the cells that need them. You know, a lot of the bones usually pull calcium from the blood. Muscles usually pull a lot of magnesium from the blood. You got the nerves usually pulling a lot of potassium from the blood. So all these different areas or tissues and cells are made up of the very nutrients that we are eating our fruits and vegetables for. So when the more you eat these fruits and vegetables, you absorb the vitamins and minerals into your body, and they become the very body. They become the flesh and bone. So the bones become harder the more calcium you store in. The muscles become more strong and solid and healthy the more magnesium you pack in there. And along with exercise, you know. All right. So we just want to make sure that you know the difference in toxins. I had a little stumbling going on with my. I had to look at my monitor for a second. That's why I had that little pause there. So please forgive us. But we want you to write down endogenous toxins. Endogenous. That word is endogenous toxins. All right. So we believe that the body incorporate these toxins. These toxins in the blood come from two different things that I'm talking about. All right. So our blood become toxic. And these toxins are the result of two different toxins, endogenous toxins and exogenous toxins. But let's talk about the endogenous toxins first. Endogenous toxins are toxins that are generating from within. These are toxins that are coming from within us. All right. So these toxins generate from our eating. After we get finished eating, we have waste behind it. So those toxins are the waste products of food that we had within us. All right. Also, cells, once they die, grow old, or become damaged, they become toxic to the body. So they are toxins that are being thrown into the blood system, and then they circulate through the blood system until they get to an elimination organ. Organs such as the kidneys will filter the blood of the toxin, or the colon will filter the blood of solid material, and the lungs will get rid of carbon. Now imagine if our waste was held in our blood or in our body for a long period of time, such as if a lung uh, couldn't expel carbon, because that's the only organ that is really designed to get rid of carbonic gas. That's why we're constantly breathing out this waste product. All right, take a deep breath of it like we did during the break. We breathed in through our nose and we're breathing out. As we're breathing out, we're breathing out a carbon gas that is a poison that the body has no need for. That's why it gets rid of it. You notice that it doesn't let out oxygen. It brings in oxygen. It brings in the actual air that it required to combust energy with sugar in the cell. All right. So the thing that it needed, it make use of it. It draws to itself. The stuff that it don't need, it repels and resists. It throws out, it eliminates, it purges, it detoxes out of the body. Now, the normal ways of detoxing is through, breathing. The normal way to get rid of uric crystals is through urination. The normal way to get rid of solid material is through having a bowel movement. But when those organs are damaged from, some type of blunt damage, like we talked about, or from some type of continual irritation, from something bad habits. Say that we smoke and we end up irritating our lungs. They cannot exchange carbon for gas anymore. Imagine if we drink a lot of poisonous drinks and eat a lot of irritating foods, the hot, the irritating, spicy, and all these different irritating properties in these foods that's causing our stomach to become irritated and inflamed. All that stuff just tears down the body. So these toxins are being generated within us. So these are endogenous toxins. And let's look at exogenous toxins. Exogenous toxins. All right. So you want to write down the word exogenous. All right. Exogenous toxins are toxins generating from without. It's a little different than endogenous. Endogenous toxins are toxins that are creating from, everyday wear and tear. Toxins being thrown into in the blood, and the blood is Its job is to circulate and get rid of it. Now, what about toxins that we bring into our body? These are the exogenous toxins, toxins such as, air pollutants. Like I said, even the smoking. Not only does smoking causes lung cancer, but so does Clorox, Lysol, Febreze, candle burning, other air wicks, the little sticky thing that's supposed to bring wealth into your life and all that type of stuff that we burn with these rituals. When we burn them into our enclosed environments, we're irritating our lungs with the smoke that comes from these things. Why should we think that smoke from a cigarette is more toxic than the smoke of any other smoke? We can sit there and burn fires, burn leaves or burn anything, and the smoke of that, if it get into our body, can suffocate us or either irritate and cause a hardening to our lung tissue. Our lung tissue can't deal with the smoke of anything, any type of smoke. So, or any other type of air pollutant and poisons and stuff like that. Notice that smoking itself ain't the only cause of lung cancer. Like I said, you got some people who work these. You look at the show at night if you're up, and you'll see these lawyers come on and say you or any loved one have suffered from mesothelioma or some type of other asbestos exposure that causes these lung cancers in people like that. You have other people who worked at other mills where they ingested toxins into their nose, like sawmills and other mills where these stuff, crystallize and they get enlarged in their lungs, causing them to, lungs to become irritated, causing pus to grow in there, all kind of other stuff that's going to happen to bring on a lung cancer. So we see that the cause of disease is not actually some type of intrusion of some type of, you'll say some type of germ or some type of virus or any type of stuff that the medical people want you to believe, but it's our condition, our habits, and our lifestyle that bring on our so-called diseases. Now, these diseases that we're seeing in chronic people, where they're dying of these lung cancers, like you see in the asbestos person, this person had to work asbestos insulation for a long period of time. They've been exposed to this poison night and day, working long hours and all types of stuff to allow that, where the body never got rid of it. The body just kept housing it over a period of time, and it had to been exposed to it until it caused the lungs to harden to that or accommodate. That hardening is an accommodation. All right. So when you smoke for a long period of time, for your body to be able to deal with that smoke, it has to harden the lungs. All right. If you're eating food that is really toxic, a regular healthy stomach can't deal with the spices of peppers and all type of stuff like that. But if your stomach can deal with it without burning and stuff like that, then your stomach has hardened. That hardening is a metamorphosis. It's a change. It's a physical change or adaptation to deal with the onslaught, the continual use of a poison. So that adaptation is a gradual adaptation. It doesn't happen overnight. You don't, your lungs don't harden. The first cigarette don't cause a lung cancer. It takes years and years of you smoking to harden the lungs to a point where they can't do the job what they were functioning to do. This is the same thing with the stomach. It takes years and years of you eating the toxic foods that irritate the stomach. It takes years and years of drinking for you to destroy the liver and destroy the kidney. So it's the habits. Now, they're not going to be outright. The sin don't kill you right then, but the sin is building up over and over, or the bad habit, or the condition, or the cause. So the cause of the suffering is the habits that spring forth this issue in our body. What's the cause of us sneezing in the dust storm? You wouldn't think it's a germ that's causing you to sneeze. It's the sneezing is caused by the condition you're in. You're in a bunch of dust, so your body is going to start sneezing to try to find a way to get some fresh air, because all this dust is coming in every time you're breathing back in, and that's not what the body wants. The lungs don't want that. And then when all this dust, you come out of this dust, you're sitting up there spitting up a bunch of mucus with a bunch of dust in there. So that mucus is coming there to pull out the dust. It's like it's going to dilute the dust and stick to the dust and bring the dust back up where you can sneeze it out, cough it up, and you have a loogie or something like that. So here it is the body is at all times trying to protect itself, that we look at it as being a disease. But the cause of disease is our body with poisons in it, and the body is trying to rid itself of the poison. All right. So the cause of disease is toxemia, poison blood. The body has accumulated these poisons because remember I told you there are organs that were designed to keep the blood clean. All right. There's organs that are designed to keep the blood clean. All right. Like the liver, the kidneys, the colon, the skin, the bowels. All those things. If when the blood goes to the kidneys, the kidneys got filters in there, all right? And those filters strain the blood of uric crystals and other like sugar and salt and things of that nature, and you go and urinate it out, all right? Now, you also got when the blood goes to the lungs have filters that filter out carbon, all right? Now you got the colon does the same thing. It got strainers that filter out solid material. Now the liver is you'll say a neutralizer that neutralizes the toxins that in your body and make them safely able to free themselves via one of those routes we just talked about to make sure that the carbon is less harmful when it leaves the lung. Make sure the uric crystals are less harmful when they're being eliminated out of the kidney, making sure that the toxins are less irritating as they're being eliminated out of the colon. All right. So anytime that they become irritating is because the liver is not properly neutralizing, or you don't have anything there to neutralize the toxins in your body. Definitely share our show as much as possible because we're going to be teaching you what's the cause of disease every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. All right. So we got to remember that when these toxins, what we're talking about, these toxins, as they're being, floating throughout your blood, because that's where all the toxins are in the blood. Everything is in the blood. When the blood goes to the cells, it picks up waste from the cell. That's how the cells get rid of their waste. They store it back in the blood, and the blood circulates around the body. It circulates around the body, and it stops at the kidneys and get rid of some waste. And it stops at the lungs and get rid of more waste. And it stops at the colon and it get rid of more waste. Now, it keep doing that, and it keep going around in circle, ongoing, day and night. It doesn't stop. It just keep on doing it. It goes to the cell, pick up waste, drop off nutrients, and it goes to a waste deposit or elimination organ, and it dumps off its toxins in the kidneys, and the kidneys excrete it out when you urinate. It dips it off to the lungs, and the lungs allow you to breathe it out when you exhale. So at all times, the blood is picking up, doing a job of pickup. It's got a big distribution system going on, the circulatory system. It's so beautiful in how it was designed and made that it's just wondrous. But it was designed to go around and be an aid to every cell in the human body, to pick up this waste and to pull toxins, bring nutrients to there and pull waste from it. So it's constantly bringing goods and taking out waste. All right. So that's the job of the blood. But now when the waste is not being eliminated out of the blood because the kidneys is not functioning properly, they're tired, or they're too busy getting rid of alcohol, or they're too busy getting rid of tea, or it's too busy getting rid of coffee, or it's too busy getting rid of Kool-Aid, or any of these other toxic drinks that we keep throwing into our body. If it's too engaged in dealing with our toxic habit, it can't deal with the toxins that we are generating from within. If we're constantly bringing toxins from without, the exogenous toxins, then it can't get rid of the endogenous toxins that we create ourselves within. So our cells, they tend to just sit there and never get fed because we're not eating food that can be absorbed into the body. So when we're eating these cooked foods and not ideal foods, because we talked about it in our last show, if you don't know what the ideal food is, you need to watch the last show that we did. You can go right there to the ATR Media and go to the platform and look at video, become a follower, and look at the video and go to our video for last week. It'll tell you what the ideal food is. And if you're not eating the ideal food, then you're starving yourself. You're starving your cells. You're starving your cells. Your cells are being starved. And if a cell is being starved, that cells die. All right. So if you're not eating, you can starve yourself to death. So you can starve your cells to death if you're not eating fresh fruits and vegetables. You can be eating what you want to call food, quasi food, Frankenstein food, that's manufactured food. If you're eating manufactured food, food that is made in these plants and stuff like that, then you're not eating ideal. You're not eating fresh, wholesome fruits and vegetables that the body can make use of. So you're starving yourself. These starved cells, they die, or they never can regenerate themselves. And it's like you're holding on. Your house is never being painted. Your house is never having the sheetrock redone, or your roof is never getting done. And your house, your mansion is turned into a shack. You used to be a mansion when you were young. Matter of fact, we got a book. It's not actually this one, but I do want to let you see one of the books that we have that you can go to Amazon. You go to Amazon. This book is actually called The 10 Ways of Health. All right, The 10 Ways of Health. You can go to Amazon and just look it up. You can type in our name, Ferrante Frazier, in Amazon and look at the books that we got out. It's called The 10 Ways of Health, but we also got one, The Essays of Hygiene. That's the one where we talk about the shack, building your house into a shack or a mansion. When we're youthful and full of vitality and our body is healthy and we don't have to mask it with dyes and colors and fillers and makeups and all these other stuff that we have to cover up our blemishes and our issues and palliate and suppress our symptoms of diseases. We don't have to do that anymore. We can just live in such a way where the body will reconstruct itself and rebuild itself back to mansion status. It'll get away from the shack status, falling down, can't get up, can't barely walk, stuttering, and all these different issues that mankind is suffering from. We're suffering from it because we're toxic. I'm just going to be straight up with it. I know a lot of people don't want to know that there are a bunch of toxic waste walking around, but that's what we truly is. I know it may sound, you're a little too hard in the way you talk, but this is just being real. If we keep palliating and telling you, it's a little germ that's causing you, and everybody's scared of a germ, and they're washing their hands with the so-called chemical sanitizer. They're putting germs on their hands, the so-called killed germs. It's poison, it's chemical poison that the body cannot make use of. Because, we're touching stuff and we're eating after we wash our hands with the stuff, so the stuff is getting on our food, these chemical sanitizers, and we're ingesting it. We're eating it along with it. Now, most of that stuff will tell you that you shouldn't even be, it shouldn't be ingested. But here it is, we put it on our hand and we touch stuff and put it in our mouth and rub our eyes and we play around in our ears. We wipe when we go to the bathroom and we do all type of other stuff that mess with our orifices, while we're dealing with these poisons. So, Miss Phyllis, how are you doing, Miss Phyllis? We got Miss Phyllis say they'll be offering lymphatic drainage massages in December, which purity and detoxify the body from bacteria and viruses. Hey, Miss Phyllis is so correct. I promise you. Like I told y'all in one of the other shows, she is the person who I deal with sending all my clients to get massages along with our program. And since we put her practices with our program, man, it has been amazing what our clients are getting. They're losing weight at a rapid rate. And this is what we're talking about right now. We're talking about getting toxins out of the body. And that massage that she does, she massages a person where that lymphatic system is dumping out these toxins in your thoracic duct and your subclavian duct. All those veins that receive the lymph. So when she's pushing on that cell and massaging you, she's pushing that toxic lymph that's washing and bathing your cell, because every cell in the laboratory must have some solution around it. They have to have the solution or this medium. All right, this medium solution is in our body is called lymph fluid. This lymph fluid, you got interstitial lymph fluid and you got extratissue lymph fluid. So that's lymph fluid that is inside the cell, and you got lymph fluid that's outside the cell. they reverse itself like getting toxins out of the cell, and it gets the toxins out. And that lymph, when you move around or get somebody to massage you, like Miss Phil is going to do over at Beauty Essential, and she's over there off Hodgson, not Hodgson Memorial, right there on Memorial. What is that? Montgomery Crossroads. She's on Montgomery Crossroad, right around the corner from us off of Hodgson Memorial. So it's really ideal. We have a client come to us, they hit the corner around at her, come in next week, same thing. Be done told us he done lost 8 to 10 pounds. Because a lot of people don't realize weight loss is actually really detoxing. You don't lose fat overnight or anything like that. Our concept is detoxing the body of toxins. Toxins, you can urinate out 2 pounds of toxin. You can have a bowel movement of 8 pounds of toxin in one day. You can breathe out a bunch of carbon out of your body when the lungs are not housing this carbon, and you smell it coming out of the body and all that stuff. So you're really detoxing yourself. That's why you see when people are detoxing, they tend to lose weight faster, because you're getting rid of toxins. You say, what is the best thing to wash the hands with? Well, hot water. Use hot water. Now, if you're a mechanic, you might want to use some type of, may use a mild soap or something like that. Or you work like on stuff was real dirty. But if you're just an individual who's not really messing around with dirt all day or anything like that, I would suggest that you just use hot water, maybe even get you a lemon and just cut the lemon. And because all fruit is anti-ascorbic, the juices in fruit destroy germs and stuff like that. They're anti-ascorbic, meaning they're against germs. So they're the true antis, So they're anti against anything that is toxic or bad for us. So the fruit juices you can get and just rub it around, use it as a good rag to wash your hands and stuff like that, and scrub yourself. It's actually a scrub built into it. Like you can just cut it in half and just squeeze the juice and rub it around your hand at the same time. So it's like a nature sponge, in other words. So I would use that to do it, and not use any type of solvents and stuff like that around your hand. And then germs ain't the cause of disease, so we're really not going to be scared of the germs. We just want to make sure that we're not eating rocks, not eating dirt, and cleaning up our stuff before we go to eat or anything like that, or put our hand to our mouth. Cleanliness is one of the 10 ways of health. It's not just that you're just going to live in filth because you're natural or anything like that. Natural hygiene insists that you be clean as well. That's outside and inside. Not only are you cleaning out your blood, you're making sure that your outer man is washed too, not just the inner man. So that's necessary. Washing often as well. So let's get back to talking about the cause of disease. All right. So I want you to make sure you're sharing with all your friends as well. Make sure that they know that we're talking about the cause of disease. So you still got your paper and pen, and we explain to you how the blood is the vehicle or the distribution center for getting rid of toxins out of your body. All right. So anytime that your kidneys is not getting rid of toxins, then the toxins that the kidneys supposed to get rid of, it stays in your blood. Now, so imagine if your blood supposed to pick up uric crystal from the digestive tract after breaking down some protein. You leave uric crystals behind. All right. So anytime you eat a piece of meat, all right, I'm breaking this down where you can understand, because I don't want to be talking too scientific, talking about proteins and moleculize and all type of other stuff like that. So we're going to talk about, your blood, when you eat a piece of chicken bone, when you eat a piece of chicken, or you eat a piece of steak, or you eat any type of meat or flesh or something of an animal, that is a protein. And those proteins, when from digestion of those proteins, if they're able to even be digested, they leave behind uric crystals and stuff like that, of that nature, or the inability to break them down properly. Whatever, we get these uric crystals, and we don't have an enzyme called uricase to get rid of those uric crystals. So the body, kind of uses the kidneys to get rid of these uric crystals and stuff. Well, let's say that the kidneys have been overworking because it's steady trying to get rid of the coffee or the tea that you drink every day. You drinking 2 to 3 cups a day. Now, that kidneys is going to be tired from going to the bathroom 10 times a day versus when it normally you should be going only 3 to 4 times a day, all right, at most, all right. So, but you're going 10 times a day because you're drinking all this tea, you got the diabetes, or you got some other disease, or you're taking some type of water pill or any type of stuff for high blood pressure that's causing you to urinate excessively. All right, you're drinking foods, or I mean, eating foods or drinking drinks that causes you to urinate excessively. So it's getting rid of those toxins that you're bringing into the body. So it can never get rid of the uric crystals that's in the blood. So, and you're still eating meat every meal you can get your hands on. Every chicken bone you can get, you're throwing it in your mouth. Every pork chop, you're eating it up. So you're getting the meat in your body, but you're not getting rid of the uric crystals from breaking down the meat. So it's like waste is building up in your blood because you've got these habits that won't allow the waste to be eliminated because it's getting rid of this other waste. I can't get rid of I can't clean out my bathroom trash can because I'm busy getting rid of the kitchen trash can. The kitchen trash can stay full. I can't even, have a chance to get to my bathrooms and get the trash out of them. So over time, the trash bathrooms get bigger and bigger. They start spilling over. So the cells, they get dirtier and dirtier. The blood get dirtier and dirtier, and it start wasting out into the cells. The cells now are getting this waste and toxins. So now the place where the toxins accumulate is where our doctor is going to give name to our diseases. A lot of people say, well, if there's only one disease, why do people suffer with so many different ailments or parts in their body? If you're saying poison blood is the cause of all disease, well, why do some people suffer in their leg? And why do some people suffer in their head? Why do some people have organic damage? Why do some people suffer from functional damage? Why are these different things resulting if there was just one cause of disease? Well, I'm still going to remain that there's only one cause of disease. Now, where the person is suffering from is usually an area of their weakest statue, or where the weakest link on them is, where they have themselves destroyed or is predisposition to be weak. That's something that just runs in their family. They just got weak genes in the lungs, or they got weak genes in the heart, or they have weak genes in the stomach. So anytime that the toxic load come on that individual or a person in that family, their body is going to cry out in their weakest or familiar spot in their gene expression or in their body. So their body is going to suffer according to their weakest point. All right. So if I've been smoking all my life and I sit here and I get toxic and get low in vitality and disease come upon me, it's going to manifest itself through my lungs because it's the weakest link. Why the body is going to get rid of or destroy a healthy heart and get rid of disease through a heart? If the heart was strong, it's going to go to the weakest organ. Now, let's imagine you was in a house and you were surrounded by 4 walls and you was locked in. But every day you beat on one wall till it get cracks in it, and it's like it's almost about to fall down. And here it is, a fire break out in there, and you got to get out of there real bad. Are you going to pick another wall in which to try to bust yourself out? No, you're going to get the weakest wall. That's one already broke, so I might as well take that route. So the body does that same thing. It's going to take the route that's already been abused. It's not going to destroy itself. A healthy cell is going to go ahead and use the one that's already been abused. So it's going to use up the liver. It's going to use up the kidney. It's going to use up the heart. It's going to use up the lung if those are the organs you yourself are destroying in your everyday habits, or if that's something that is in your lifestyle that's just going to be produced out of your daily living. We're getting close to the end of our show. If you have any questions, just put it in the box. But we need to go on to the point of you'll say the nature of disease. We've been talking about the cause of disease, and we say that the cause of disease is poison blood. And when this poison blood get to a point in our body, it spills into other areas of the body. Now, sometimes they put it into a capsule. All right. Now, when the blood becomes so toxic, the body a form of capsule in which to store that toxins in. Now, that storage is what we call to be abscesses, tumors, wens, polyps, or some type of tumor, some type of sac in which the body barricade the toxins away from other vital tissues and vital organs. Get it out of the vital domain of the circulation. You just got to get it out of circulation for a little time. So the body is so wise, man. It's so powerful. It's so self-evident in itself. It does everything on itself. That's the number one law of life. That the body is self-preservation, is self-constructing, is self-renewing, is correcting, is self-regenerating, it's self-defending. It does everything on its own. It just needs the right conditions around it. It needs the right environment around it. So when it acts, it's acting in its self-defense. When it's coughing in self-defense of the dust that's in the air. It's not coughing just to cough. If you go in the dust storm, you're coughing. When you come out of the dust storm, you're not coughing. Your body don't just cough just to cough. If it's coughing for a reason. There's the nature of a cough. The cough is to expel toxin out of the living domain, out of the bronchial system, get it up out of the lung. So if a fly flew in your throat, it's not going to give you a headache. It's not going to make you sneeze. It's not going to make you have a diarrhea. It's not going to make you have, some other issue in your body part. It's going to make you cough. The cough is the only thing to free the fly from out of your throat. Now, if you had some, food decaying in your stomach, you're not going to cough. You're not going to sneeze. You're going to have a diarrhea. You're going to vomit possibly. So, the conditions or the symptoms that we suffer from is familiar to the area that is being traumatized, that's being irritated, that's being killed, being destroyed, So those organs, all we have to do is pay attention to your symptoms, and we know what's going on with your body. Because every body got a language. It talks to you. Your headache, your muscles, pains, and different stuff like that. They become, they tingle. Your body does all type of stuff to let you know when it's going through issues. You just have to learn the language of the body and know what the body demands. If you know the philosophy of the laws of life and how they govern our body, you will live in such a way where you won't know what suffering is. Nature of disease is to bring about healing to you. Your disease is your cure. The nature of a cough is to free something. The nature of the diarrhea is to free something. The nature of the sneeze is to free something. The nature of sweating is to cool you down. The nature of all disease, inflammation is to protect and prepare something. Pain itself is your body telling you don't use that organ. It's just the language of the body. Margo Kane said, can lymph node issues cause knots in the breast? Is that an example of toxins trying to build up in the lymphatic system? Yes, that is definitely what's going on. When the lymph node issues, like you might not even have a lymph node in that area, but we do know it's in that area. But that's what's happening where the toxins are being stored in those areas, and those toxins, the more they become violent, the more they putrefy, the more they stay there, they decompose. And over time, they become so toxic that they cannot, the barrier that keeps them in that barrier can no longer house them. There's no resistance anymore, so they start spilling out. And that's where you see that we're talking about the spreading of the cancer and things of that nature. But nothing is cancerous at the beginning because it hasn't reached that state of putrefying yet. But it putrefies because it never have a way to relieve itself. If you go and store some trash in a closet and you never go there and take it out, over time it's going to become a violent waste in there. You're gonna go in there and everything is gonna be putrid, liquid, oozing everywhere, maggots, flies, and all type of stuff. The longer you let it sit there and rot. So that's the same thing going on with these poisons when they're being housed in our body in the form of these tumors, cysts, polyps, and wens. Now, the body is amazing. Sometimes it'll throw the toxins or the tumors straight out the body. That's what we call them abscesses and things of that nature. We have this big old thing that we squeezing and having to go to the doctor and have them squeeze out the big old pus bumps and all type of things of that nature. So those just toxins being eliminated out of the body. It's just an eruption. But that'd be like tumors and different things of that nature. We even see that in women who are suffering a lot with bleeding. A lot of them wondering why they're having this, these cysts and polyps and winds on their womb, on the womb, and in their fallopian tube and the different areas of their womanhood. And that's why they're bleeding a lot of time. The more profuse the blood flow, the more of the size of the womb or the issue that's going on, the size of the tumor, it'd be more bigger when there's more blood being lost. When it's clotting up and stuff like that. That's a lot of old blood in there, and the body is using a lot of its vitamins to try to stop stop this excess of blood flow. So we have to look a lot at how we're going to correct our issues instead of trying to suppress them and allow the medical people to just cut out our diseases without doing anything to reverse it naturally. Like eating right. We're massing up for everything. We think masks are going to protect us from everything. We want to use the medical approach for everything. The medical doctor, all their remedies are a bunch of tricks, people. You gotta be obedient to the laws that govern you. You gotta breathe fresh air. There's no fresh air in a can. There's no fresh air except for out there in the air. Ms. Marco asks, are colonic treatments recommended? I would not suggest the use of colonic treatments because, first of all, they don't address the problem. Any type of treatments are out of our scope of healing because they don't address the cause of disease. They don't stop you from eating Big Macs just because you're taking a colonic. They don't stop you from drinking toxic drinks or your habits. They don't stop that. So your condition is still present. I don't care how much you water hose, the back end of yourself. That's not the ideal thing for us to do. And then at the same time, it don't detox the body. All you're doing is getting rid of waste that is like nothing but a enema, or it's just mimicking what an enema supposed to do. Hydrate the colon, but from all this toxic waste that has been sitting there drying and putrefying inside of you. But it wouldn't do that as long, unless you, if you got energy, your colon would never become constipated. Only a constipated colon suffers from innervation, meaning that it's sluggish. It doesn't have any functioning power, because it's been overworked. You've been going to the bathroom quite often. It ain't just became constipated overnight. It's because you have been overusing. You've been sitting on the toilet 5 times a day. You've been, constantly having to run and different things like that, and to the point now where the colon don't have energy to get rid of this waste. So it got to just accumulate on the inside. But to the question itself, colonic treatments, they don't get rid of the waste out of the blood. So all you're doing is just forcing the bowels to act when it's even tired, which is going to cause even more constipation longer. If you force it into action, that energy is not coming from the force or the pill. You're using up energy that was on standby. That little light, that little left power that allow for regeneration. But the more you tap into your colon power without letting it properly regenerate, you're going to kill the organism, or kill the body in itself, because it's just going to decompose all the way, because there's no functioning power going to it. And this is where we're going to suffer our so-called metamorphosis, or our fungation, what we consider to be the cancers and different things of that nature. So back to your question, colonic treatments are not recommended. I know I said a lot just to get to that one statement. Colonic treatments are not to be recommended. Now, I know a lot of those water theorists going to get mad at me for saying such a thing, but I guess all doctors are going to be mad at me for saying anything. If you sell something, you're going to get mad at me for saying something, because I don't believe that you should have take anything for your body to be healed if it heals itself. If your body has the ability to heal itself, how can anything be said to be healed? If I was going to get over a cold anyhow, and millions of people catch the cold every year, and millions of people get over it with or without taking medicine. So how do we know the medicine works if I was going to get over the cold anyhow? If my body going to heal from something, if I get a cut and I don't put no Neosporin on it and it still heals, with or without Neosporin, who to say the Neosporin work? Or the Band-Aid? Who to say the Band-Aid work? How do we know that these things have any type of healing property anyhow? When the body was going to do its own healing. Now, people heal faster. I know some people heal slower than other people. And I also know some people who heal faster than others. Now, they'll tell you that the Band-Aid is going to help you heal quicker, or this Neosporin is going to help you heal quicker. How? Like, how do they know to have that type of power? You know, a Band-Aid? Come on now. We have to use common sense when we're thinking about this disease. We can't let these people just tell us anything. You got so many different medical doctors that's teaching from different medical colleges with different medical information. And these people are confusing us. They're confusing us with their treatments and their remedies and their so-called modalities. Now, we like them because they dress in the suits and the ties and they drive the nice cars and they got these big old buildings erect with all type of lights and so much beautiful equipment in there. They probe us and they stick us and they do all type of abnormal things. And we look at them as being the saviors of our diseases when all of us are just suffering and dying when we go to their establishment. Now, when we change our lifestyle and our habits, we know that we start feeling better. We get our own care back into ourselves. Matter of fact, in one of our books, we got the Obamacare system. You know, Obama came out with that Obamacare, and we came up with an Obamacare. I'm gonna care for myself. I'm gonna do what's necessary for me to be healthy. I'm gonna walk. No man can walk for me. I'm gonna drink water. No one can drink water for me. I'm going to exercise. No one's gonna exercise for me. I'm gonna eat healthy food. What I eat makes my body. What you eat makes your body. So I gotta personally take this journey towards health and creating this health for myself. I got Alicia Scott up here, and hey, how are you doing, sweet lady? Thank you for all that you're doing. I watch a lot of your shows, and you make so much sense. Thank you for coming up here and blessing us. You say, what about vegan diets? What are the best foods to get calcium? Oranges. Oranges are some good ones. Any of your citrus fruits. When it comes to fruits, going to help you get calcium. But eating calcium is not the end. You know, you can eat the calcium and the calcium won't be usable, even when you're eating oranges. You have to make sure that you're getting sunlight, adequate sunlight, along with eating the calcium, because that's what's going to help the calcium be absorbed into your bones where it can be stored. That's where they're stored, in the bones and stuff like that. All right. So what about vegan diet? The vegan diet, there are many types of vegan diets. We got these diets that are not raw though. We got the non-raw vegan diet where people eat French fries, tater chips. You know, we even eating these vegan meats and stuff like that now. So we're not really eating the foods that are ideal. So that's not the raw vegan. Now you got these raw vegans, they're eating nothing but plant food. And these plant foods are not cooked. They haven't been destroyed by fire, because fire is going to destroy the food value when we eat these foods. Or denaturing, processing, refining, any type of manufacturing or change we do to the food prior to eating it is modifying the health of the food. The food is not as healthy as it would be if we eat it in its wholesome state. So the ideal diet of hygiene teaches that, you know, the ideal diet is fresh, wholesome, raw fruits and vegetables, eaten in moderation, especially the seeds, and they eat those in moderation. We also should talk about a lot of the diets, like the Dr. Sebi diet, and you got a lot of other diets that's out there. You got the Daniel diet. You got all these different types of diets that talk from the raw point of view. You got Adam diet, the Adamic diet, which was the fruits and vegetables. Well, fruit. He was frugivore. You know, if you read what his diet was giving him, the Adam in the Bible in Genesis 1:29, you see that it was told for him to just eat nothing but fruits, anything that had a seed within itself, and then also to eat tender leaves. So he would eat the tender green. So that was the ideal diet for him. So that was the raw fruitarian diet, the ideal diet where man would live the longest, the best diet there is. Now, any other diet from there is a substitute, or it's like a downgrade from the best diet known to mankind, which is the fruitarian, the frugivore diet. Then we go to the vegetarian diet that don't consist mainly on fruits. So like the frugivore diet, we eat a predominantly amount of fruits. We eating fruits pretty much all day, you know, for months at a time. We take salads, sparingly and stuff. Well, we eat good salads, but we take them sparingly. We stay away from nuts so often. We will indulge in them at times. But we stay away from a lot of the cooked foods, a lot of the processed foods, a lot of the refined foods, manufactured food. We stay away from those things. So that is the predominantly fruitarian diet. When you get to the vegan diet, you just, eating a lot of, now if it's a raw vegan diet, you're still eating a predominantly raw diet. You're eating a bunch of fruits and vegetables, but mainly on a lot of the vegetables. You want to eat a bunch of the vegetables, leafy green salads and stuff like that, tomatoes, cucumbers, things of that nature. Now, when you start going to just a vegan diet, you might be eating foods that are cooked, more often manufactured. You might be eating cookies that, just as long as they don't have, animal flesh or animal byproducts in it. Vegetarian diet, you're going to allow some vegetarian byproducts in your diet. You're not going to eat the flesh food. That's when you go into being a omnivore or carnivore, because we're not really carnivores. We're not carnivores or omnivores. But even in our eating, our sad diet, we're omnivores because we pretty much eat anything, y'all. If y'all look at the ingredients in some of this food that we're putting down our body, you'll notice that we're eating bugs, sawmill stuff, eating dust and eating critters and all type of things. If you only knew what was in some of the stuff that we're putting in our body. Now, a lot of that stuff that they have on the back of that paper, they give a new name to it. They don't have to call it pus. They can call it canosynotype. They don't have to call it urine of some frog. They can call it, escatata. Some other type of scientific name they want to give it. Instead of just saying monosglutamate or monosodium glutamate, they might call it MSG, or instead of them saying MSG, they might call it nicotine, or they might call it some other so-called name. All these different names is just to keep you from understanding what they're truly poisoning us with. What's a good detox? They said before we end this, we're gonna talk about the remedy. That's good. We got a couple, like 3 more minutes left before we go into the Miss Blakely show, and stay tuned for that. We here every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. But yeah, good question. What's a good detox? The best detox is just don't do anything. Dr. Jennings was one of the main persons that called the let alone plan. Just go lay down. Do what Jesus did. He went in the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights and talked to nobody, ate nothing, didn't work, didn't do anything. Just laid there, rest, allowed his body to repair. Say when he came out, he came full of energy. Moses, when he was on the mountain, he stood up there on the mountain for 40 days, fasted, came out and said he was glowing. So the body heals itself when you're not doing anything. It's healing itself. Every time you go to the bathroom, you're urinating. So if you're not drinking bad toxic stuff, you're only drinking water, and you go urinate for a week straight, you didn't urinate nothing but toxins out, and you never re-toxin yourself. So the best detox is to go without retoxing yourself, and to allow your body to every day urinate, have bowel movements, breathe out toxic waste, and it will heal itself because it's going to remove that toxic buildup in the blood. So every time you breathe out, you're getting rid of carbon. Every time you urinate, you get rid of uric crystals. Every time you have a bowel movement, you're getting rid of solid waste. And if you're not eating, if you're not drinking toxic stuff and not polluting your air, then you're going to constantly be getting rid of toxins out of the blood. The blood is going to become pure and clean. The cells are going to become pure and clean because they're going to be dumping their toxins in the blood, and you're going to be getting rid of it. So you're going to have optimum health. So the best detox is fasting. Fasting allows the body to do what it can't do at full speed ahead. It can do it at rest. So this has been Savannah Natural Health, Ferrante Frazier. I want to wish you the best of health and all happiness. Share this. Get back with us Tuesday at 6 o'clock. All right? Best of health and happiness.